We're here in Noel Meade's Castletown yard in County Meath to talk to him about his festival team this year. The trainer of the famous Archibald, the trainer of Go Native, Sausalito Bay and Nicanor, who have all won at the Cheltenham Festival before. Has he got another one to add to the list? Hopefully Monksland will be his leading contender in the World Hurdle, and we're here today to see him put through his paces. Okay, Noel, we'll start off with Monksland in the World Hurdle. Obviously, must be delighted with how his season has gone so far, and he looks a real contender in that race. Very open race this year with big bucks gone.
Yeah, I suppose it is open. There's a few horses have been getting looking pretty good on the two English horses in their trials, and I suppose you have to fancy Nicky's horse, Oscar Whiskey. He's. I suppose he got run out of it last year, but that was when Big Bucks was there. But look, I'm going to concentrate on my own lad, and everything's gone well with him. The step up to 3 miles went really well at Christmas, and he stayed well. I think nicer ground will suit him better. His form has been good, and he hopefully still improving. We've been very easy on him, and he hasn't been over raced. So you'd hope he might just improve a little bit as time went on as well.
And you were saying at the start of the year you were tempted to go novice chasing. What kind of made up your mind to stick over hurdles?
Yeah, I had it in my head. I had absolutely no thought of staying over hurdles with him. And Paul Hunt, who had more or less left it to me, but his brother Seamus, who's had horses with me for quite some time, was here one morning, and he said, "I thought you were mad." He said to go over fences with him so soon, seeing as he's only had the few runs over hurdles. And I started thinking then, he has run so little over hurdles, maybe it's a mistake. So I sort of threw it around to the lads in the yard, and a couple of the lads that we would, Damien McGillich and Paul, my head lad, and Peter Kavanagh, and of course Paul as well. And we sort of thought then maybe it would be worth a try. So when he went to the North and won, and then he ran second in the Hatton's Grace, and he's won at Christmas, so there was 3 runs.
For Monksland, running on strongly over on the far side, and Monksland and Paul Carberry will gain his revenge for Fairy House. Monksland wins the Woodies DIY for Noel Meade. Second side, poor So Young.
And a stay in his game, do you think? We started off over 2 miles down Royal, and he made the transition pretty smoothly, really. Do you think he is an out-and-out stayer, but he has that touch of class as well?
Well, he certainly stayed very well at Christmas in what was a pretty fast run race, and in very testing ground, and he came home very well in that, and he kind of got a little bit outpaced down the back of that. So I think, the trip is a big help to him.
Yeah, I remember talking to you after the race, I think, and you said at no stage did you think he was going to win that race.
No, well, halfway, certainly down the back I didn't. When they jumped the second last and they turned into, just before they turned into the straight, my hopes started to get up that he was starting to travel again. But he's run a little bit like that in some of his races, that he's been sort of dropped the bridle and looked like as if he was going over for 100 yards or so, and then he's picked up and ran home again. He won't run again before Cheltenham. No, the plan is to keep him go straight. He's very clear-winded, and we just felt that if we were going to run him again and run him over 3 miles on very heavy ground, with the ground we have at the moment, it was only going to knock him back. So he'll do a little racecourse gallop, I'm sure, between now and then, and all going well. We left him very quiet through the whole of January, and he's just starting his build-up now. But he's buzzy enough at home. But he was good in Cheltenham last year. He settled down well, and he ran into Cotton Mill when he got lost about 5 or 6 lengths when Cotton Mill fell at the second last. I suppose Cotton Mill was going well at the time too, so it's hard to say. But we thought we would have been a lot closer. Wouldn't have troubled the winner, but we would have been a lot closer to him had that not happened. So we're hoping that we'd have a better run and a better luck this time.
And you've had plenty of horses in Cheltenham going with live chances. Will you be travelling over in more expectation than hope, or what would you be happy with?
I know. Well, we think he's a contender anyway, and I think he's a horse with ability, and his owner says he does what it says in the tin. Every time he runs his race, which is a big help when you're going anywhere or to a race like that you have a horse that's pretty genuine and does his thing, you know.
And reading between the lines, you think Oscar Whiskey is probably your biggest danger?
Yeah, I think Oscar Whiskey is probably whether he actually does get 3 miles or not is debatable, I suppose. But he certainly has a lot of class. He's a beautiful big horse with a great galloper and a great horse to look at as well. I've been thinking about him more as a chaser for next year, all along, for next season. So for that reason, we've been very easy on him. And he's only had his couple of runs. We won a bumper in his 2 hurdle races, and now he's going to go direct for probably the 3 mile race, although he's in the other one as well, the 2.5. So we'll make up our mind closer, because he's a Gigginstown horse, and they'll have other horses for Cheltenham as well, but we'll have to slot in where we slot in. But I think it'll probably will be the 3 mile race. He did win a 3 mile race this year already, and he's won a point to point, as you know. So I'm very happy with him at the moment. I'm very happy with everything he's done. We've run him 3 times, he's won 3 times, and he's been quite impressive every time. He made a bad mistake the last day at the last, which was when he won in Cork. But that's one of those things that can happen. Maybe that's only teaching a lesson. I'm happy with him, and I think he'll go with a big chance.
Another horse that might run in that race as well is Busty Brown, who was second to the very well touted Pont Alexander at Navan.
Yeah, he was. I suppose he was second, and he was beaten a long way. But 3 miles would suit him really well. He's a horse that stays extremely well. He's run his last couple of races have been good runs. Yeah, I know Gordon's horse fell out the last that day, but I think we're going to overhaul him. Whether that was that he was running a bad race or we were running a good one, I don't know. But he stays really well. He's tough, jumps well, and I think he'd go on good ground. He's not altogether certain that he'd travel, but he's in the mix at the moment anyway.
Texas Jack, I presumed you were delighted with him at Leopardstown. Great win, and he's held his form pretty well this season. Yeah,
Texas he was a big, tall, leggy sort of horse, and he's been filling out nicely. And I think for that reason he's been improving. He ran a very good race at Christmas behind A-Up Charlie and Willie's other horse that just pipped him a short head in the 3 mile race. Like, he was there jumping the last. Paul felt the trip might have been just a shade too far for him. Brought him back to 2.5, and he won well enough. He went to the front, and he was a little bit lazy in front, but he won well enough. And he is entered in Cheltenham, but whether he would go or not, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's unlikely. I think it's more likely he'll go for the Power Gold Cup in Fairyhouse.
And Rail Dove, Noel, is a horse that won the Power Gold Cup and triple Grade 1 winner, was a terrific novice. Is he close to coming back to his best, and what's the plan for him?
He unfortunately gave himself a rap just before Christmas, so he missed his Christmas. He was to run in the Dialabet at Christmas, and he missed his run there. But he's back now in good shape, and he'll probably run in the Red Mills in Gorn. And whether he's entered in both the Queen Mother and the Ryanair, but they've been such hot races this year, both of them, I think it's probable that he's not going to travel. That's not set. He is entered. That's not set in stone, but I think that's probably the way it is. And there are a few races at home that he can race in without. Now, that we've got this race in the Red Mills, and then we've got a race in Fairyhouse at Easter, a 2 mile chase. And Easter being very early this year, it would probably sit in nicely. And there's another race in Navan as well, from the Webster Cup race in Navan. So there's a few races there. And then, of course, you have Punchestown at the end of the season. So I think the plan will probably be to stay home. The chances are he'll stay at home.
And the County Hurdle, Noel, a horse that you somehow couldn't manage to win with Archibald. But this year you have Il Fenomeno for that race.
Yeah, I'd like to think that he'd go for it anyway. He ran in the Boyle Sports race, and we put blinkers on him for the first day, and Paul rode him. And to be honest, I've said it to him. There's no point in burying it. I was disappointed with the ride he gave him in the race. He went on a long way out on him, and I think ridden differently, he would have been very, very close had he not won. But he certainly would have been in the shake-up anyway. and I'd be hopeful if we can get him to Cheltenham in the same condition as he was, and as he was in for the Boyle Sports, and he's really well at the moment, that the track will suit him and that he'll be coming home well, and I think he has a fighting chance in it.
And unfortunately, Noel, injuries to the likes of Go Native, Ned Buntline and Sword of Destiny has kind of shortened your string heading over to Cheltenham. Out of all your runners, what do you think is probably your best chance?
Actually, I suppose we'd have to say Monksland, but Monksland and Road to Riches are probably the best. We have a couple in other handicaps as well, but I'd say like Cheltenham is about championship racing, and they're running championship races.
So we've seen Noel Meade's festival string put through their paces, and I'd have to agree with Noel. I think Monksland is probably his best chance of another festival winner in the World Hurdle. He brings solid form into the race, and he looks to one with a live chance of bringing home another festival glory for Noel Meade.